Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and also all the figure skating I'm watching. I've watched all the figure skating, like all of the figure skating. I won't talk about that at the front. I finished 3 books though, somehow. I mean, one of them I barely had to finish since last week. One was very short, but one was kind of lengthy, and I really liked it, and I'm also in the middle of I think maybe my top ballot contender for a nomination and voting season, which is quite exciting and unexpected in a way. So that's very cool. So we'll start just briefly. I finished Future's Edge. Last week I was talking about this. I was rambling. I was like, should I DNF this? Should I have DNF'd it? I don't remember anything now. This is fine. It is a 3-star read, which is to say, I didn't feel pulled to pick it up at any given point. It is not holding any space in my brain. It didn't do anything exceptional. It didn't do anything bad. If anything, it might have been a 3.5 if it weren't for I really felt like the ending just kind of came together. And came together conveniently. I really was confused. The whole premise of this is our main character, Ursula, had an infection from this alien thing, and it makes her protected and superpower. And then they're like, we think you're the key to stopping the apocalypse because you need to interact with this artifact. And how that worked and how we solved the problem was extremely lackluster, in my opinion. So, this was fine. If you like adventurous, action-packed science fiction that's short and you just want a palate cleanser and you think some of the tropes in here will be for you, give it a go. Otherwise, if you have tastes similar to mine, it's probably not worth your time. So I finished that. One that I finished that I'm going to talk about in an hour or so at book club is The Origin of Others. So this is an essay collection. These were lectures given at Harvard, and they're all compiled into this work. So it's 6, 7 essays. I think it's mostly 6. Some I liked more than others. I talked about a few last week in last Friday's reads. I think what I found difficult to read, that I'm sure is better when it's spoken to you, is I would feel like the essay was going in one direction and it would complete its thought, and then it feels like it's going on a tangent. And I feel like when someone's talking to you, tangents feel more organic, but when I'm reading a piece that, again, was originally written to be spoken, it felt like, wait, we never went back to this thread we started over here, and I'm distracted because my brain goes, you said 1 and 2, we're talking about 1, and a lot about 1, we never got to 2? We're never going to get to 2. 2 is gone. And that's just distracting for me in terms of a structure. Yeah, I think what's really interesting and kind of makes me curious when I do pick up more of her works to refer back to is she talks a lot about, and this is why I did this in Paradise, and this is why I did this in Beloved, and I think that's really interesting. I'm always very curious about why authors do what they do and the thought experiments behind it. I think she has interesting ideas about writing the other, why we have this fear of globalism. I don't necessarily think they are groundbreaking ideas. That might also have been my issue, is that I'm coming to this work as someone who has thought about this and engaged with this topic a lot. I'm not a privileged white American in Harvard University getting this talk. I'm not that audience. I am someone from a mixed background who grew up in an integrated school system. I have a very different background than I think the person she was making the audience for this lecture series. And I don't think that's bad. It just means that, I didn't take as much from it. And then, of course, just her thought tree and thought process, whether it's because it was for spoken form or because her prose style in my brain sometimes are a little wonky. Sometimes it was a little wonky. But I'm excited to discuss it with a bunch of people, especially because the head of our book club, the owner of the store, I know he loves her as an author. So I'm just very rewarded when I go to these to see what connections. When I last went for the employees last month, it was fantastic. So I finished that. I also, in the midst of all of this reading, needed something fun. And so I started The Son of the Morning and was instantly yes. Yes. The fact that this romantasy is not more popular is, in fact, it represents why romantasy is kind of sometimes an issue in publishing, in my opinion. Not that romantasy as a genre is bad, not that people can't read what they want to read and have fun, but because why is something as, as horny and fun as this, and quality as this, not more popular. Okoiki Emezi is a non-binary individual from Nigeria. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I have no idea. Maybe I do just have completely different tastes from everyone who reads Romantasy, but I do love Akamath. Like, I do really like Fourth Wing, so I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty basic. But let's discuss what is awesome about this and not my annoyance that it's not more popular. So we have our main character, and like it already starts really intriguing. She grows up kind of in this place that is a land of magic amongst all of these women, and it's just a family of women. And it's clear right from the get-go that everyone in this family is different, but she's the most different in a way that kind of scares her family. So already this is just intriguing in a way that you don't get with a lot of like mysterious, overpowered main character women in Romantasy. Like it's still that trope, but it's an interesting twist on that trope. And then fast forward, she's finally leaving home. She's trying to interact with her normal friends, and they end up going to this party because one of her normal friends' father might be like super rich and maybe like a part of a mafia or something like that. And then she meets the son of the morning star, Lucifer, the devil himself, and they have instant chemistry. And it kind of goes into that instant love, instant lust sort of path, but it still has a lot of grounding in emotions and in having to prove yourself as a character to yourself and to your family. Like our main character, her family's always trying to protect her, and she really hates how they won't let her like flourish and be herself and make her own mistakes and won't trust her with her own history. And I think that being a center part of the conflict was really well done. We also have this point of view that's just like floating around that is obviously setting up this conflict, and this conflict is kind of fun and centered around our characters, so it's a little more grounded in the emotional side, which is where I want our romances to be. Some of my issues with Romantasy is sometimes the plot is very contrived and then also separate from the emotional beats. This is still contrived, but it's centered in on the emotional beats of the characters, so it works for me. We also have Leviathan, who is great, and I just really, like, at first I'm like, why am I getting Leviathan point of views? And then I'm like, oh, this is why I'm getting Leviathan point of views, and it was awesome. It is erotic at times, so if you do not like that in your books, it is on page. It can feel sometimes a little out of nowhere, but honestly, I've had worse, and it kind of makes sense, I think, based off how things are set up. So if you like a good balance of emotional development, sexy times, and a plot that's pretty engaging with a good amount of mystery, and it's still like a tight 350-page book, I think you should read The Son of the Morning. I think it's very good. I had a good time with it. I was annoyed that I didn't get to finish it over the weekend, because I just like to read these types of things where I just have a weekend and I can just read a book till I can stop reading a book and not just go to sleep because I have to go to sleep because I have to go to work the next day. So, yeah, that was fun. I'm really glad I read it. I struggle if it's my favorite of the romances I've read by them. I do not know. It's different. Like Romantasy and contemporary romance are different. Maybe I like this one a smidge more, but it's also recency biased. And then I am reading, like I said, top billing contender for my Hugo ballot, if it sticks the landing. And this is Slow Gods by Claire North, who I've read nothing from. Absolutely nothing from. I still am unsure if this is the author that wrote Ithaca. I think it is, but I'm unsure. I haven't looked it up. But it's like a really popular book because I can't get a copy of it from any of my libraries right now. I'm just lucky enough to have the audio because I got it from Libro FM when it was like an influencer copy. And so last week when I said I was reading this, I was like, I'm struggling a little bit. There's a lot going on. I don't have visual cues. I'm in now. The world building's still involved, but in a way that I'm having so much fun. The main character, main perspective, fascinating. I'm having so much fun learning about this individual. And the piecemeal way, like it's a combination of throws you into it and you just gotta tread water, swim, pick up words where you can, and then it'll be like, okay, you've tread water long enough. Here's a chapter where I'm just gonna info dump a thought to you. And then you get to fill it in. And I'm like, oh, thank you. This feels good because I've already been filling in the pieces and now you've confirmed or denied my thoughts, which is like how I like to learn. So I'm learning about this world in a way I like to learn. Already, I'm nerding out big time. But thematically, it's so rich. Also, America's the shine, And if you've read this book, I'm okay with it, but also rough. It's a rough view. It's a rough view. Like, I'm sure it's more nuanced than that, but like you have a bunch of like galactic powers, and one of them is very super capitalistic, and we start there. And I'm really liking each part. We go to a different place and we get really grounded in new ways of thinking, because our main point of view is kind of immortal, and you kind of learn why. And he has a unique set of skills, and he gets to go places and be around people and end up at the center of events. Part 2, and one of the most emotional chapters I've read in so long. Like, oh my goodness. And I can see why people were like, when I did my sci-fi recommendations video, they're like, this feels like something that should be on that list. I'm still not like 100% sure, but I can see how it's in conversation with it, especially part 2. Because like, so far it's actually in all of it, but a big part of the whole book is that there's this thing called the slow. And I don't know a lot about the slow yet. Presumably it's the thing on the cover of this book. I don't know. And the slow basically doesn't talk a lot, but when it does, it tells the truth. And it told this part of the galaxy universe, hey, these binary stars, they're gonna collide, explode, and in the next 80 years, or maybe not 80 years, maybe it was 100 years or so, but everything's gonna die. Neutrinos, radiation, boom, you know? And so trying to give planets a heads up for evacuation plans, contingency plans, whatever they could try and do. And so we start off with the Shine, who's just like, ignore that. Nothing bad's gonna happen. And then part 2, we're actually looking at this planet that basically does really plan what they're going to do and is kind of sort of the thought experiment of the best case scenario. And it's fascinating and heartfelt. And I really loved the interweaving of our emotional stakes, but then also just observing it and what it means for culture and assimilation. This is a very good cultural, like, social sci-fi space opera book. It's really good. And especially because, like, I read The Dispossessed recently, and I, like, liked it, but I didn't, like, love it that much. This is so good. Like, this is what I want from rich, chunky, like, imaginative science fiction. I'm having a blast. Like, I'm already thinking about, like, should I reread it? When will I reread it? Do I need to buy a physical copy? Yes, I should do that. Like, I'm already, like, doing all of this. Well, I already bought a book this month. Okay, maybe next month, because I'm trying to, like, only buy a book a month. Because money. And so, like, I really cannot emphasize enough that if you think anything I've said about this book is going to be intriguing to you, you should give it a go. I will say something that I also just find interesting, although I don't think you should read it just for this, is our main character is really unique and immortal and dark and mysterious, but it's really piecemeal how you learn about it, so I don't want to talk about a lot. But it truly is like, he brings it up, like, very much at the beginning. It's like, I'm not allowed to do this because they get nervous, but I can do this, and they feel more comfortable if I do this. Like, so why are people scared of you? It's giving Incredible Hulk, but it's not the Incredible Hulk. But it's just like, people are terrified of the individual telling you the story. And he's sort of an unreliable narrator, but sort of kind of reliable. Like, he's not meaning to be unreliable. And it's very interesting how it plays out, how it works. And yeah, I'm having a good time. So that's my audiobook. I need to pick another physical book, and I don't know what it'll be yet. Like, I just don't know. I'm a little behind on some little piecemeal things that I want to be buddy reading. So, like, parts of Memories of Ice. So I might be picking that up a little bit here and there. I am picking up the Stories on the Shore or something by Rebecca Campbell. I'm buying that today at the bookstore. So I'll have those short stories to read. But I haven't really thought about what I'm going to get to yet. Maybe it's time for These Burning Stars. Maybe. I don't know. So audiobook, I know what I'm doing. Physical, I don't know. I do need to read You Dreamed of Empires by this time next week. But I think I want to audio and read it with my eyeballs. So I don't know how that's going to shake out. But I do think that's for sure my audio once I finish Slow Gods. And maybe it's my physical beforehand. I haven't figured that out. So that one's like one that I have to read before this time next week, because then there's another book club, because I just love going to book clubs. Now, what have I been watching? Figure skating. Only figure skating. Just so that's a lie. There's another thing I've been watching. I've been watching Wonder Man, which is actually very good. The internet is not lying. This is actually a very good show. If you want a show set in LA about somebody who loves acting and wants to get into Hollywood, and it's this duo, these two guys, and like they have great like chemistry and dynamics and are becoming friends, that's why you should watch Wonder Man. Yes, it's in the superhero universe. Each episode's like 30 minutes. It's truly a well-crafted TV show. We are almost done with it. We have like 2 episodes left. And I did start Shrinking. And like, I love Shrinking. And yeah, I love it a lot. But figure skating. I am fresh off of just finishing the ice dance. And I am unhappy, to say the least. And I don't think it's a spoiler to say so, because this is coming out like on Friday. And if you don't know by Friday who got gold on Wednesday, you are not invested enough to be scared of spoilers. But I am annoyed that the French won. I was already annoyed that the French were using Vogue for a 90s song. And yes, I know it came out in March 1990. That does not make it culturally 90. We all know how decades work, and there's a blur period, and Vogue is 80s vibes. It is. It just is. I have polled people around me. I have my own strong opinions. So even before I learned about the French shenanigans, I was anti this pair. And then I didn't even really like their routine, just from, you know, a visual lens, like just like from my emotions. And then they win. Like, ugh, blah, don't like it. Unsung hero who didn't podium, the Spain team. They did Dune and they were awesome. Loved them. I watched all of Rhythm Dance. Okay, we had 3 Ricky Martins, we had 2 J-Los, we had 2 Freedoms, and then we had 2 I'm Too Sexies, in terms of song selections. We had 3 Romeo and Juliets for this ice dance. Anyways, I adore watching figure skating. And honestly, from here on out, like, I honestly kind of wanted France to mess up, because I really didn't want them to win, because they are so messy, and like, I don't really want to get into it because it's not my story to tell, but the pairing, how they came together, there's been a lot of bad acting in like the background. Like someone got fired from a job because of a book she published about one of the dancers, and like, it's just a mess. Like, they are not like great people from what I can tell, and people are stronger than me who can watch their routine and be like, but it's so beautiful. Like, to me, it wasn't that beautiful, and all I could think about is how like, you guys are shit people. While watching it. Like, I couldn't be fooled by their acting in that moment. Some people who are bad people and good actors, I can be fooled. Not these ones. I will say, though, like, I've watched the men's short program, and I was so happy that so many people got to, like, do their best skates, because all I actually want to do is watch the best people do their best routines. That's all I really want. So I was a little bummed because 2 of the guys from Japan I really like, and they didn't do their best routines. But, like, now, I'm not a France hater. There's a guy from France in the men's short program, and he was awesome. And I kind of really want him to compete strong for gold. Not that I don't love Ilya, our quad god, but, like, Ilya, very impressive individual. He has the artistic, emotional breadth of the 20-some-year-old that he is. Because if you don't know his long program, he, like, does his own voice overlay, and it's pretty cringe. Like, it's pretty cringe. Like, it's fine. Like, he's very impressive as an athlete. And he's probably going to win because he can do quads like no one can do quads, which is fine. So again, what have I been watching? Figure skating. I have so many figure skating thoughts. Like, so many. I'm not even a figure skater. I'm a ballroom dancer, and so there's just a lot of overlap in things that I like, kind of like. And I kind of do like the whole, like, the subjective score with the technical score. I like the combination, even if it came to bite me in ice dance, which again, still not happy about. Still. And I need to actually go find, there are 2 Great Britain teams that I watched. One did Romeo plus Juliet, which was awesome. The other one did, like, I believe it was mostly Scottish music, but they did, I Would Walk 500 Miles, and, like, I felt bad because they made a mistake, and I kind of want to watch them do it, like, their best, because, again, all I really want is to watch people who are the best do the best, because, like, that just sounds stupendous to me. So, yeah, I got to finish men's. While you're seeing this video, I'm watching it. Like, I'm watching it that afternoon. And then we've got pairs, and we got women's, and I'm just excited. I like watching figure skating. It brings me joy. Anyways, that's not anything you care about. I'm gonna go. I gotta eat dinner, go to book club. What are you reading, doing, watching? What's your Olympic sport of choice? I hyperfixate into figure skating because I never get to watch figure skating in any quality format. So I recognize there's a lot of fun things, and my coworker shows them to me. And I go, that's funny. I have watched the dog go down the ski slope. I have not watched the skiers. But what is your favorite? I know hockey is going to be starting soon, so I'll probably be seeing hockey via Ryan. And yeah, if you just want to leave an emoji, though, to let me know you're here. Oh, what did I want to... Let's leave angel wings for the sun of the morning. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.